So hello and welcome to another AwareNow Unplugged. We have, ladies and gentlemen, in the house today, Tri Bourne, all the way from California, the Golden Coast. So it's awesome to have you here, Tri. How you doing?
I'm doing great. Happy to be here. We've been lucky enough to have some good weather here in Southern California. So as long as I got good weather, I'm lucky enough to work outside. So that makes my day for sure.
There you go. See, Tri sat there. He's got his drink in hand, super relaxed. I'm feeling relaxed just looking at this man. Whilst I look at this man, I'm going to tell you that he is a professional beach volleyball player, an Olympian as well. So this guy has gone for the rings. And he's a tall bugger because you don't get to be good at beach volleyball without having a lot of height and hands like shovels. So this guy, I will look up to him because I'm only a meager 6 foot. To look at him, you'd think this guy, well, what's he here for? He's the ambassador for Invisible Disabilities. You'd think everything was going fine, but in 2016, he had a chronic inflammation, autoimmune muscle disease, which he lives with. And his story, which you'll find in the return edition of AwareNow, is absolutely amazing and inspiring. And I can't wait to share Tri with you and also the little gems. So get your notebook and pad ready because you're going to need them. So Tri, with all that said, tell us a little bit more about yourself.
Yeah, well, thanks for the intro. It's a nice intro there, but I think the first thing that I tell people when I, introduce myself is that I'm born and raised in Hawaii, and that's a really unique culture and community out there, and I think it kind of describes me fairly well. Even though I'm one of the whiter, more pale people that you'll see. That's definitely a big part of who I am, just growing up around the ocean and being outdoors and, being a part of a small community. That's kind of me in a nutshell. And then on top of that, being raised by athletes. So my parents are both, PE teachers, athletic director, and just sports enthusiasts. So I kind of grew up in a PE office in Hawaii. That's kind of me in a nutshell.
Well, and there's an interesting story of actually how you got your name from your parents.
Right. Yeah.
Share the backstory for your name. This is always great.
Well, they were triathletes. My dad was a triathlete. My mom, more like long distance running and canoe paddling and whatnot. But yeah, my mom decided she liked the name Tri, and everyone's like, "Oh, you're naming your kid after triathlons," and they say that that's not the total reason why, but I'm pretty sure it is.
To be honest, it's a bloody good story anyway, so I'd stick with that one.
Well, I'm also the third child from my mom, so Tri's third too, yeah.
You were destined, dude. There was no way you were going to escape that name.
Right, yeah, exactly.
Well, look, now we're going to go completely unplugged. And I'm going to take the fellow audience into your comfort zone. So are you ready, Tri?
Yes.
Okay, let's do this. We bring in the random question generator.
Hey.
There you go. It's a bingo wheel, but don't worry. We're just going to use our imagination a bit.
This is great.
I'm going to pull out some balls. There's some random questions on there for you. One more. There we go. All right. You ready for this?
Ready.
See, you haven't even warmed up and you're ready. I love it. I love it. So number 28. What's the most fulfilling project you have worked on?
Ooh, the most fulfilling project I've worked on. I mean, the first thing that came to mind was just small little thing like building out my backyard here for my daughter. My first kid, she's like 2 now, so she really like kind of knows what she likes, and we built her out a sandbox and a tent and a little there's like a plastic kitchen here, but I think that was really fun and weirdly fulfilling. I never thought making a little dollhouse kitchen would be fulfilling, but when you see your kid light up about it and get all excited to go hang out in her little tent, yeah, I guess that was it. Other than that, I also built out my garage into a surfboard room and gym, so that was pretty fun too.
Brilliant answer. I mean, first of all, they're mobile when they get to that stage. You turn around and so yeah. I love that. That's very down to earth, but also for the family as well, which is awesome.
Right.
Well, that was good. We're going to give you a little for that one. That was a good little start there. Let's see what number one. Oh my goodness, no one's pulled a number one before. Figure Olympian. Okay. Okay.
I like ones.
Yeah. If you could travel to any year in a time machine, what time would you choose and why?
Ooh, that is a great question. I've always wondered what it would be like to go back to Hawaii, like maybe like, I don't even know, maybe like 1,000 years ago. I'd just like to see, I mean, Hawaii or the US or anywhere, just to see the landscape before people got there and compare it to where it's at now. And then, see how people used to live, especially Hawaii, because I'm so familiar with the landscape growing up on a little island, just to see how weather impacts it, obviously, but more importantly, how people have changed it, brought in different plants and introduced different plants and animals, but then also, building on top of a lot of it. So I think that would be the coolest thing, like go back to Hawaii 1,000 years ago, and I would probably get killed, but it would be really cool to see.
No, I love that. And then you can come back and tell us how the surf was, because that's what we want to know.
That's what, and I need to bring a surfboard.
Absolutely.
I'd be the only one at all the best breaks.
The waves to yourself. I mean, no.
Right. Yeah, exactly.
Love that. I love that. Okay, number 35. Let's see what number 35 has in store for you. If you won the lottery, what would you do with the money?
Oof. How much are we talking for a lottery? Like,
well, let's go big. Let's go Thunderball big, hey? Let's say 80, 90, $100 million. There you go.
Nice. I like to think that I would not do too much different. I think I would buy myself a property in Hawaii, but I don't think I'd want to like live in some big house that I don't want to get a bunch of things, so I have to think about more things. I'd like to still live a mellow lifestyle, try to stay as much the same as I am now. It actually scares me to get a lot of money because I wouldn't want it to change me,
Yeah.
And I think there'd be a lot of potential or temptation, I guess, to go down different paths and move away from the things that actually fulfill you versus the things that we all think that might fulfill us. And I think it'd be a tough lesson to learn. But I mean, give back. I think I'd have to shift my focus from me trying to move up in the world and become financially, gain financial freedom for myself and my family. I'd have to move from that goal to, okay, now how can I give back and make the biggest positive impact out there? And then, trying to prioritizing. I would really do it. Try to surround myself with a really strong group of people and kind of team of people that know what the priorities are and what the real things are that fulfill me.
Love it.
But I know that there would have to be a lot of change for sure. So it wouldn't all be like just like every day happy, maybe the first few weeks, and then you'd be like, all right, now
Yeah.
Now what?
Yeah. There would come that shift. You're absolutely right, because at some point, you know, you'd run out of things to want and stuff. And
yeah, you'd have to give back for sure.
Love it. See, you get yourself a really tip-top surfboard. That's what that would be.
Oh, my surfboard quiver would be on point. That's for sure.
Number 40. There we are. Let's have a look. See what number 40's got. Who is your favorite comedian?
Favorite comedian? Oh man. You know, I don't have one that sticks out to me. Gosh, there's so many different comedians that have their like such unique abilities. Like, you know, Robin Williams is one that stands out. He's just so talented, and Jerry Seinfeld, and then like, you know, the Dave Chappelle's, and I love those guys as well. But I don't have one that sticks out particularly.
I suspect it's kind of more about what mood you're in, and if they capture that mood, and then because
exactly.
The ones you mentioned there, first of all, they listen in, of course, so they'll be very happy.
Right.
You've name checked them, so that's the first thing. Even Robin.
Right.
But no, I think nice spread, as they say. Number 62. If you could bring back one fashion trend, what would it be? It could be sports fashion trend as well.
Right. Yeah. So I'm not a much of a fashion person at all. I think the outfit that I'm most comfortable in is just board shorts. But I actually, the board shorts trend on the beach nowadays has gone to more of the like modern like shorter shorts, which, you know, it's actually come back around. But when I was younger, it was these longer board shorts, and I loved that style. That was kind of my style and my generation style at the time, and I wouldn't mind seeing that come back. The shorts are getting a little high over here in California, and I got really big legs, so maybe we bring back the old school board shorts a little bit.
I'm a fan of the old board shorts. When you start seeing the white creep towards the top of your thigh, that's when it's thinking, oh my God, it's getting, you know. Yes, no, I love that. And when this is kind of sad now, when you go to the shops, you see the fashion which you remember wearing as a kid come back. Like at the moment, the 80s t-shirts with the solid bars across. I'm like, oh my God, you know, and the pocket.
That's what, that actually came to mind too. Cause I mean, beach volleyball was in the 80s and 90s. It was just like, it was the face of all that, you know, bright neon colors and the lightning bolts and the, you know, all that good stuff. And I was thinking, oh, that'd be cool. And then I was like, I don't know if I'd bring that one all the way back at the moment.
Well, you know, Top Gun did a lot for beach volleyball, of course.
Right. Yeah.
So that's coming back out as well. So Be Warned, beach volleyball may be making a big surge comeback.
I'll take it.
There you are.
I need to
get
it
here first, ladies and gentlemen. We heard it here first, and Ty is right on the cusp of that one. So number 41. What chore do you absolute hate doing?
Oh man. I hate laundry. It's just it's too time consuming. You know, it's not that hard to do, but it's time consuming folding it. And I don't like, for some reason when I'm folding, I work out so much that it's like a little more physical labor. And I'm like, oh, my arms are already tired from the day. I can do dishes though. But for some reason, laundry just gets me.
See, what we need to do is you need to get the short shorts, which don't need folding. You'll be well away.
Yeah, right. Well, I used to just wear one pair of board shorts for like the week.
Yeah, turn them inside out. No one knows. Number 60, number 67, the last of the random questions. At what store would you love to max out your credit card?
Ooh. Man, I mean, realistically, I would say just like Target or something, you know, like I can just I can fill my entire house, take care of the groceries. I can do everything in one place. I can even do some clothes shopping.
There you
So
are.
I'm going with Target.
Yeah, I love the ease on that one-stop shopping. I'm there. That's entirely
Yeah,
right.
exactly.
Well, look, you did fantastically well for the random round, so well done.
Love it.
And we've hopefully found a few things out about you which you didn't realize you were going to share with us today, which is always fun.
For sure.
Now we're going to talk a bit about the awareness. So I always love this little part where it says, how did you find your way to the Awareness Ties family? Tell us how you came into contact with the tribe.
Well, it's actually, I think it was during the time that I was still sitting out of my sport and recovering, and trying to find my way back onto the court from my illness. We had left town and we rented out our place to Jack and Aaliyah. And so they actually were living in my house because they were down here in the beach cities for a bit. And I think they saw some pictures, or I forget what happened, but Aaliyah and my wife Gabby were in touch, and they started talking, and I think my wife sent them this documentary that we were working on about my comeback, and they just got talking, and it was like the perfect fit. And they told us all about awareness, and we were like, wow, like what are the chances that you guys were staying in our house and like happened to roll upon my story? And yeah, so it just was all meant to be, and it all went really smoothly from there.
There are no coincidences, so that was always destined to happen, and I love that. I mean, that is so random, isn't it?
I know, so funny.
Brilliant. That's why I so love that question.
Yeah.
Now you mentioned, and you have this invisible. I don't want to call it, because I don't personally like the word disease, a condition, because that's more an athlete. Tell us a little bit, because I must admit I never really was aware of this until I watched your previous interview. Tell us a little bit about the condition which you currently and still live with.
Yeah, so it's well, I was diagnosed with dermatomyositis, and there's a few different versions of myositis, which is an basically inflammatory muscle disease. So body's sending information to the muscles, because from my understanding, the body somehow gets confused and starts looking at the muscle cells as a bad thing, or something that needs to be dealt with. So it starts sending inflammation to all the muscles, and so that slowly, for me, after the 2016 season, it slowly just got worse and worse and worse. And as I was trying to train through it, we finally, after probably longer than normal people would have gone, we finally started. I stopped playing and started dealing with it, because all the inflammation in my joints and muscles and stuff, like I wasn't mobile anymore. But as as an active person or an athlete, you kind of get used to being
you're walking around with your war wound, if it doesn't hurt, you haven't done enough type.
Yeah, like my hands were hurting, and I was going to my trainer, my athletic trainer, and he's like trying to like stretch them and like basically pry them open, and it was just the most painful thing ever. And in hindsight, I was like, wow, that was not what my body needed.
Let's go and give it a good bend,
Yeah, it won't bend. Well, what if I pull harder? Like, so I learned a lot about that, and obviously it was a long process. It took about 6 months to diagnose.
Wow.
And I was really fortunate. In hindsight, I'm, learning more and more about how fortunate I was to, being a professional athlete, I have a good amount of resources that I had access to. And I had access to the USA Volleyball, who was also backed by the USOC, United States Olympic Committee. And so they ended up sending me to a few doctors. And then when we didn't have the diagnosis, they actually sent me to Utah, because they have this national medical network that they have access to at all times. And so that's where I ended up getting the diagnosis, was when I got sent up to the University of Utah, and they did a muscle biopsy. And from there, it was a slow path to recovery, getting on the meds and more steroids than anyone would like to be on. But then, that started the slow, multiple year long process of getting myself off those meds and back and playing and all that. So yeah, it's definitely been a long journey, but in hindsight, having gone through that challenge, I'm a believer that every challenge is an opportunity to grow. There's something great to come out of it with, and hopefully the challenge doesn't last too long, but what you come out of the challenge with can last forever.
Yes.
So like keeping that in mind every time that a challenge comes up is like, I'm not going to run away from this thing. I'm not going to dodge it or try to mask it with, drugs or alcohol or, whatever it might be, run away from it. Just face it so you can get through it. And by getting through it, then you get all those gems, and you get to live with those things going forward, and you get to share them. That's the other thing I'm learning, is like, I didn't realize that anything I learned, not only is it like a power that I get to live with, but I get to share it with other people.
Yes, because you can't give what you have, you can't give away what you haven't already got. So, and you're right. The people tend to, and the first thing is, oh my God. But then once you get past that stage and you start thinking, well, actually, hang on a minute, and you've come back stronger in mentally, and it's a whole shift in lots of different areas. And also you get now to be the ambassador for Invisible Disability, which would not have come if in fact you hadn't sort of had to go through the mill. So tell us a little bit about what that means to you, and how you try to pass on that and raise awareness.
Well, the easiest way to raise awareness is to just share my story, and try to somewhat be more vulnerable than I normally would have been back in the day, being a male athlete and all that. There's a natural tendency there to not share and be as vulnerable. But yeah, just share everything I've learned, and continue to try to grow and learn as a person. And that's basically it. Just sharing and raising awareness, right? Like that's kind of one and the same, because I've learned a lot since being a part of this group with Awareness Ties. I didn't realize how lucky I was really to get this diagnosis and to have the resources that I had around me, because myositis, what I have is, it is dangerous, and it is a really intense thing, but the most dangerous part is when people can't diagnose it. And so the more awareness we can bring to this thing, the more people it can save. And I've talked to people who have lost their father to myositis, and they believe that it was just because they didn't catch it soon enough. They didn't know what myositis was, that their doctors weren't aware of it, and just diagnosing it earlier would have saved him. So hearing stuff like that makes me I guess grateful, or I'm grateful that I have that knowledge now, and I feel, you know, obligated to share and help bring awareness.
I mean, we talked a little bit before we started filming about, you know, being a very much an athlete, and that being your and you even said, you know, in your interview, so your detox, you went to do some that, then to have that removed and then have to deal with something new. That's really where the invisibility part gets. That's where the meat and gravy is, isn't it?
Yes, exactly.
So,
Yeah.
awesome.
Yeah. It was. There's always the challenges that come with. Yeah. Everyone has challenges.
Nothing comes easy. I mean, you make your living in the gladiators arena, so you know that not easy is part of the thing. So
oh yeah, 100%.
Part of the rub. Look, I know you've had more than one sort of aha moment, but is there one that sort of pops into your mind, an unplugged moment where you suddenly everything changed?
I'd say it was like when I look at life as a whole for me, you know, my 32 years, it was those, that year and a half was kind of my aha moment of where maybe a year of it, because the first, you know, 6 months, 8 months was just me like being like, what is going on? Like I'm trying to comprehend it. And in hindsight, I'm like, that's fine. You know, you're not supposed to just get there to that point and know what to do.
No.
But there's a year period there where I had just been like, you know what? Screw it. Like I'm gonna make the most of this. I'm gonna attack this thing like I attacked my sport. Like I'm gonna come out better than I came into it. I'm not gonna sit here and feel sorry for myself and be like, oh, everyone in my sport, because you know, I was thinking about volleyball a lot. And I was like, I'm not gonna be sitting here and thinking about my sport, thinking, you know, being like, I'm gonna be sorry, I got distracted there.
I get where you are, because if you sit there and you look at something you can't have, and you also, and one of your previous quotes you said was that your body follows where your mind it goes. So that part there was the readjustment of the mind.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So that during that period.
Hey.
Yeah, that was, yeah, I mean, that was just my time to just be like, commit to like attacking this thing, facing it. And then the big aha moment was that whole time period where I was in it, and I was like, I started feeling fulfilled by just attacking it, and like it was my full-time job.
That's so very helpful for anyone who's actually stuck in this invisible part, making it visible enough that you can identify it. And I love it. Well, look, on the back of that, you must have had you have a favorite quote or mantra. What can you share with us on the quote side?
Yeah, I mean, thinking about what we were just talking about, it was like, whatever you think, you're right. I think I read that. Whatever you think, you're right. My daughter's hanging. Okay, you can leave it there. She found me.
Yeah.
You did? What is it?
There's something in here.
Okay, can you leave it right there?
Right
here? Yeah. Thanks.
There's the boss. The boss was in, ladies and gentlemen, and
exactly.
And I think Tri, you did pretty well there to keep it all together. That's good. I'll leave that in. So, share with us before we start to wrap up. Have you got a favorite song? You must, you know, being a man who lives his life and from Hawaii on the beach. What's one of your favorite songs and why?
Oh man. It changes every year, you know. I actually, what I've noticed is I make playlists usually for in season now, based on where I'm at mentally, where my team's at, you know, and all that. So it changes. Song that comes up, you know, there's some like that are kind of nostalgic from my my childhood, which is the song Jaja No by Groundation. I'm into reggae music, being from Hawaii. That one's more just nostalgic. It's not really like as much about, you know, what the song's about necessarily.
Nostalgia is good. Nostalgia's fine if it takes you
exactly.
to a time, and that's a great.
Yeah, there's one that I've listened to that's gotten me pretty pumped up. A rap song by Nipsey Hussle called "Grinding All My Life," I think. And that one kind of like gets me in the mood to be like, yeah, I've been grinding. I like this grind. I embrace it. That one kind of pumps me up for sport.
And it looks like your little daughter has given it the airing as we speak. So, you know.
Yeah. Exactly. Naya. Sorry. I don't know.
Don't worry. As we head to the end of the session, what are you working on at the moment? Tell me what you're doing, and then where can we find you?
Up here. Let me just make her stop crying, and then I'll tell you.
Oh yeah. When we cut back in, we now see that that we have a +1 with we have and tell us who you're. Do you want to introduce your daughter, or are you going to kind of?
Yeah, it's fine. Yeah, this is Naya. She's 2.5, right? And she was just playing outside, but we lost track of mom, so I guess she's hanging with me now.
Well, if the question which I was going to ask was what are you working on right now, I think I know the answer.
Yeah, well, so we just started up training for the new year, you know, coming off the Olympics, which was crazy. We kind of had to reset our goals. And for me, it starts, like you said, it starts right here with family, making sure that my priorities are straight. But it's been exciting. I've gotten back together with the same team this year. We decided to run it back together with a buddy of mine, Trevor Crabb, who's a childhood friend. And we're pushing ourselves harder than we ever have. We've structured our weeks in a really great way. That's really exciting for me. I feel like there's a lot of potential for growth there. So yeah, if you're into beach volleyball, I think we're gonna have a really good product that we're putting out to the world this year. And we're starting the year off as the #1 team in the US, or for the US. Yeah.
Get it.
Yeah. That's it.
That's awesome, and it sounds very exciting. I can feel your energy level just rising up through the roof. On that. It's something you're very excited about.
For sure. Yeah.
Where can we find you? Where can we get hold of you and watch your future journey?
Yeah, I mean, the best for me, I'm an Instagram guy. I'm usually on there the most. So Instagram, and then I also have a YouTube channel I started with a bunch of videos, mostly volleyball related. So if you're into volleyball, then definitely check out the YouTube page too. But Instagram's a little more just following my lifestyle and whatnot.
That's fine. I could do with borrowing a bit of California sun. I'm here in Quebec and it's cold. So
yeah. And it's just at Tri Bourne, so easy.
Perfect. Well, Tri, thank you very much for allowing us to have some time with you today, and for being a fantastic ambassador for Invisible Disabilities.
My pleasure.
And as I said at the beginning, this is somebody you will have to look up to, literally, being that he's such a big fella, 6'6". So he's comfortable with that.
Yep, all good.
Thank you very much, everyone, for tuning in. Stay tuned for our next wonderful ambassador as we show real life stories and we catch up with the real guys and girls. So thank you for now, and we'll see you next time.
Thank you, Paul. Appreciate it.
No problem, my friend.